We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
Oh, like, yeah, just waiting for someone to say something. So I was looking at another screen. Thanks. Now our people on YouTube are like, "What's he
With
doing?"
the dead air. What's going on with those guys?
I'll have to cut that off on the video
No,
portion.
don't. That's part of the fun.
So I was just reading an email from management. So,
Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
oh,
We
that's
got a
right.
pretty big milestone, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Season 5,
Uh,
Cinco.
yeah,
That's what they're saying down at the border, down in Brownsville and Liberty Pass.
yeah.
Cinco.
They say that on the in May as well.
Oh,
So
it's five.
yes, Cinco de Mayo.
We had a Chihuahua named Cinco.
Who's that? Who's we?
When I was a kid, our family.
Oh,
My
okay.
sister had asthma, and apparently Chihuahuas will take the asthma. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, and now there's one of the Labrapoodles, doodles, whatever they're called. They're hypo
What
allo.
do they take?
Huh?
What do they take from people?
What do you mean? What do they take from people?
No, the Chihuahua. If you have a family member that has asthma,
Right.
you get a Chihuahua, and the Chihuahua will take the asthma.
What are you talking about?
I don't
Take
know.
the asthma. Like the dog gets asthma?
Yeah, the dog gets the asthma,
Yes.
and the person is relieved of the asthma. I think.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
that's what they told us when I was a kid, and we had this stupid little dog. Well, anyway, his name was Cinco because, well, first of all, Chihuahuas are Mexican, I think.
sure. The name would imply that.
They're
Yes.
hard workers. Anyway, so
But you got to bring
this
them in illegally, I think.
well, yeah, well, this dog was born on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and it
Oh,
was the fifth of the litter, and
wow.
it was from Mexico, so we called it Cinco.
There you go. Makes sense
I
to me.
never I never realized what Cinco was till I was like 40.
Oh, well, as what I was reading coming on, since it's our fifth season, the management reached out and told me, and I assume they did for you too,
No,
and they paid for all my travel expenses this past weekend.
you've got to be kidding me.
Nope. So all that time down there was on the house. I wish I would have known that. I would have spent more. But on the what I'm talking about is what we've been talking about. We had our fraternity reunion this past weekend.
Wait. Your flight from Charlotte to Orlando, your hotel room, the whole kit and caboodle,
Yeah.
they paid for.
Yeah, I assume they did for you too.
Assumption not granted. No, they
Yeah,
did not.
too late now. We already started the show. We're already signed up for the that
What
was
is it
my
like?
agreement.
I take my hand off the chess piece or something like that.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't move.
season 5 now.
I'm submitting my charges.
Go ahead. They'll be glad to look them over for you. Make sure they're
They're in order.
you're in order. Yep, you got
Well,
charged the right amount, sir.
it's all here, Dave. Well, good
That's
thing you
right.
paid for it.
You got paid and congratulations and pats on the back
No,
and
I'm typical.
odds and
I'm
ends.
terribly happy. We're going to talk about that too, by the way. But I'm just tired. What'd you get? The free parking? What was the deal last time? You should.
I got a parking spot
Yeah.
at the studios. And no, it was 2 seasons ago. Last season, I negotiated the 100 basis points increase. I thought that was a hell of a deal.
No, it wasn't an increase. It was 100 bips. Period. That was it.
All right.
Yeah, we're still spending that money. Woo.
Woohoo.
All
Rags
right.
to riches.
Well, let's get going. So, Sigma Chi, proud to
Yes.
be an Eta Pi Sigma Chi. We're going to dedicate at least the next 2 or 3 minutes to this.
I thought you were going
We
to say
really
two
don't.
or three episodes. I'm
Well,
like,
we
man,
really
I don't know,
don't
was
know.
that good?
We really don't know what comes of our show. It's an ebb and flow thing.
Well, we got a little feedback this past weekend, I assume, right?
Yeah, kind
Little,
of. We're going to
little bit.
mention some names tonight, guys. So if you're tuning in now, don't leave now because you'll
Right.
miss the big show.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more exciting than to have your name on either Spotify or YouTube or iHeartRadio. By the way, subscribe down in the corner. I can't ask you guys enough to do that. Ladies, too. It does help us. Costs you nothing. Boom. Now I'm going to put that graphic up at the bottom. So.
Where you say please subscribe in that arrow.
Yes. Yes.
The pointer.
Yeah, I like. By the way, a couple weeks ago, we did get one thumbs down. Doesn't say who, didn't leave a comment. So
There was a like and there was a comment.
No, there wasn't.
I swear on a video, I was trying to find it, but I don't know.
I'll look again because I check every week, unlike you.
There was no email.
You sure?
I've discontinued it. No, I'm just
no. Now I'm putting that email address. I forget where I put it. Down there? Yeah, down there. Questions down there. So that's where it is. So
you do that thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm picking up my video editing skills. Speaking of which, we spoke with Mr. Price over the weekend down there. Big videographer. It was good to see him.
Yeah, with the well, is he freelancing or was he formerly with the Magic or something like that?
He was with the Orlando Magic for a time, and he was also with a video production house for a long time. He got me a couple gigs there. I used to be a grip, they call it. And don't make the funny joke. I think you did.
No, I did, but I'm mature.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's
I don't do fart jokes and
I say that's not the Dave I met this past weekend.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you, though, an observational thing on your behalf.
Sure.
Did me and Hotelier come off as homeless at some point? Everybody bought us meals through the whole weekend.
Are you serious?
Yeah. We left Saturday after the meeting. We went out to lunch, and that person paid. And a hotelier, Brad, he says to me, he goes, "Are we homeless or something?" Because you bought around
a little scruffy.
You brought around the drinks the night before, so did JoJo, and
I got another time. I felt very confident about buying you. I like doing that, buying drinks, because I didn't drink there. Well, we'll get into that in a minute, but
right.
But then poor JoJo shows up and says, "I'm buying shots," and I'm like, well, that's not going to go over very well.
And he was selling them to people. He wasn't just saying, "Hey, anybody." He's like, "You don't? I guess you're having one." And he did a high-end bourbon on top of it.
Yeah, $13 a shot. I was like,
so,
okay, here's
he's a big wig in Vegas, man. He plays the high roller tables, man.
Apparently.
So Baccarat or something like that. Have you ever heard of that game?
It's the James Bond game.
Why does everybody say that?
Why do they say that?
Does he play it in the movies or something?
Yeah, I think so. James,
I thought he was playing Go. I thought it was Go Fish. He was playing in the movies.
War.
War. Yeah.
He was a spy.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, wait a minute. No, we're going way far here. Let's
all right, go ahead.
Let's kind of give it the blow by blow without getting too crazy. So you landed. What time did you land in Orlando?
7:30.
Holy crap! Well, I left the house at 6:30. So
I left the house at 4 a.m.
Hey, remind you, I'm gonna send you a picture of that car I had.
Okay.
And you got to put it in the thing, because I rented a Jeep Grand. I was going to get the Hyundai Santa Fe.
Yeah.
But they
were all out.
Well, they surprised me with this Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Still drinking?
Could have saved him some letters. Jeep Grand Cherokee, the big one, the fancy one. And it was
I'm pretty sure I can find something online.
Okay. It was a hybrid.
That's right.
And Which I didn't even know. Car, man. It made really. My wife is like, "Well, that's what they all sound like." I didn't mean to do that voice like that, because it sounds.
It sounded just like her.
Anyway,
that's what she said.
So it was very, very comfortable. If anyone owns one, very comfortable. 4-wheel drive, leather. The whole Mac Daddy, big sun moon roof thing. But it was a hybrid, so it was the engine and the battery, which was cool, because I was afraid of the gas mileage. I like getting a little good at gas mileage.
Right.
And
is that why I had to push the last 2 miles to the airport?
Get out. That thing did great on mileage. And
did you put any gas in till you had to return it?
Yeah, I just waited till the very end. I think it cost me $50 to fill it up.
Wow, okay.
But I did 300 and something miles.
Yeah, it
So,
wasn't a short trip by any means.
yeah. Anyway, so I got down there and we had the golf tournament was the first event. And to say golf tournament, actually, it's not a bad idea. We went to Top Golf over in Lake Mary. And of course, I initiated the morning like
Oh,
any,
that's right. You sent
like
me.
any pro
Thanks.
should.
Thanks for sending me a picture of your.
We'll save that comment.
Maybe I'll post that picture.
A lot of pizza the night before. No, so anyway, we got the day started, and I want to give a shout out to Chuck Patrick. Remember Chuck?
Yeah. Well,
Mark's-
I only met him a couple times prior. He's one of the original old guard of this chapter, so he was well on his way. But of course, we know his brother quite well.
And Mark's given us permission to say his name, by the way.
Okay, good.
He thought the thing you came up with was a little sketchy.
Off-putting. Okay, I can see that.
But I think the thing with Chuck was because remember Mark always talked him up, and he was a founder, and
Mhm.
and we're like, yeah, okay, Mark, sure. Anyway, so but I think he was traveling because I got to talk with Chuck a little bit, learn a little bit more about.
Well, I
his
think he was in
background.
medical supplies, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But he was on the West Coast a lot. So
Okay.
anyway, we've gone way too far. He and his committee put together this tournament, and it was a hoot. It was
Okay,
just a
good.
great time.
As you know, played regular golf that day. Me and the hotelier decided we were going to play with his brother and an old friend of ours who is essentially part of the fraternity but couldn't be a member because he didn't go to UCF. So
Was that what that was? Did he go to
Yeah.
Seminole College or something?
he was doing community college, and I don't know where he got he became a policeman, I guess, a sheriff, if you
Law
will.
enforcement.
Yeah. So I don't want to give away his name, in case any guys in jail are listening, want to come after him.
Because we do have a big audience in the penal colony.
The penal colony.
The penal system, apparently.
One of those great words. That is not the word of the week, though.
Penal?
Yeah. No, sorry. Most people know that one because it's funny to say. So anyhow, we went out and played 18 holes in a very windy day.
Do you remember the name of the course?
Twin Rivers, I think. I think the UCF golf team has their practice facilities there. Not very impressive for a Big 12 team, but who was there? Saw him. I was like, okay.
You saw the facilities or you saw the players?
No, I saw the facilities.
You didn't have your autograph pad out?
Well, if I had seen some players come by, I would have stopped the car and asked them to sign something, but no dice.
Sign your balls. All right. Anyway, so all right, that was Friday. And then Friday, I couldn't check into the hotel. We couldn't check into the hotel, I don't know, till when did you check in?
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah, but I didn't get there till like 3, so that's probably fine, right?
2:00.
Yeah. Okay.
Stayed at a nice little hotel. I stayed at the Celeste on campus, which was a good idea. But you weren't that. You walked back and forth.
Yeah, it was maybe not even a quarter mile farther of a walk. Just we had to cross the busy Althea Trail. Yeah, that was about the difference maker.
That would not have been a good idea for me.
Late at night, well,
Friday night.
You would have already been on the safe side by the time you started drinking, though. You would have been on the hotel side. So
yeah. Anyway, so Friday we went to the house, the actual Sigma Chi chapter house on campus. And from about 6 to 10, I think this event was. And I got to say, everyone was kind of poor mouth in the event. Because I don't know what happened was, pre poor mouthing.
Oh, okay.
Because there was no booze.
Yes,
it was a dry event. And I think we had Coca-Cola products, various Coca-Cola products. And the catering was awesome. The company that did I think it was Bolo or something like that.
Yeah, that was good. I had
very good food.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the sorority sisters were all helping out around
signing everybody in and getting name tags and things and helping around. And I didn't know who they were because they weren't wearing their letters or anything. So I just thought they were friends of people in the Sigma Chi, which they probably were, but I didn't know they were sorority, sisters.
I kept going up to a couple cute ones. I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
what's your
no.
name? And they're like,
Get
and
out
I'd
of
say,
here.
how old are you? And they say 20. I'm like, oh God.
No, they were like, hell, never mind. I was going to say
Well, I mean, they were
17.
just,
Well, you know,
but I don't want to sound like a perv, but I mean, they're in college, obviously,
yeah.
but they're younger than my daughter, which is weird. Anyway,
Yes, that would have been the case for me as well, had
yeah.
I
So,
actually talked to any of them.
okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes. So, imagine this, the chapter house. I don't know how many people were there, you think? 160, 150? It was
You know,
packed.
I never left that main room.
Yeah, there was a tent out back with tables.
I had planned to head out there because I thought, oh, there'll be, and then I just got talking to people, and before I know it, the evening was over. So,
And I kept thinking how difficult it was for me to eat and drink at the same time. And then one of the Rich Walls, I think, had held my drink for a couple of minutes while I was eating. So that was pretty cool. But the cool thing, here's what I'm going to get to without we labor this too far, because we got to get back onto the funny stuff. The cool thing was, you hadn't seen these guys in what, 30, 35 years.
yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
And so some of the guys that you would run into, you had daily friendship with during the course of a school year, and so you always had something to talk about. Sometimes you'd go to the house and hang out, watch TV, or sit in the lunchroom.
Right.
But to be away from someone for 30 to 35 years, to think you were going to have this pick up where you left off kind of thing, it was awkward. And so what happened was we had this what I call popcorn effect. And you'd see someone you hadn't seen for a long time. And once you figured out who they were, because maybe they didn't look the same way, there was this really elated moment of excitement and being able to say, man, and I caught myself remembering them as they were.
Yeah,
I
I don't
was
think anybody changed. Um,
one fella I didn't recognize. I kept looking at him like, who are you? But
we had name
like,
tags,
yes, it's
Dave.
me.
You're supposed to read the name tag. That was my trick.
Well, no, I did, but I couldn't.
No, but I think personality wise, I really didn't pick up on anybody that changed significantly from a
right.
personality standpoint. You, them, we were all still, I'm still the immature smartass in the
Yeah.
room, right? So that plays out, much to my wife's chagrin.
Yeah. Well, mine too.
She puts up with it.
So I just can't say enough how cool it was to catch all those guys. And then as the night evolved, we kind of cloistered around a table or two. Like I know Mark and you and Brad. But the thing that we said last week on the show before we broke was about you and I. We're going to see each other in person.
Oh, that's
we're going to
right.
be able to shake hands, which we haven't done in 25 plus
Did
years.
we remember to do that?
I slipped you the grip. You weren't looking.
I was asleep.
I slipped you the grip while you were sleeping. I think that's criminal.
Yeah.
Not only secret, but criminal.
Me too.
Apparently, I slipped a lot of guys the grip on Friday night. Holy cow. Anyway, so that's really not going to play well out of context.
Hey, help me out with something though. And I think I asked you this question, but so I thought the house was in amazing shape. I had been there a couple times before, and it was really in bad shape most times. But it was really in really good shape. So they did great work on the house. What I was confused by is why there were two, and I'll post the picture up here where we're in front of the house so people have
yeah,
can see it. Why were the two cars in the front yard? It wasn't like there was a dealership tag on them or something like, hey, whoever sponsored the show wanted to put two of his cars out there.
Do you remember when we went over to Bar Louie's across the street? And
yeah.
I was bitching and moaning about all these people backing their cars in.
Oh, into parking spots.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's give you some context for the people in the audience. When Woody and I were there, we stayed in this place. I was kind of disappointed, but everyone called it the ghetto.
Well, the original fraternity house.
The one that you and I would have.
Right. Yeah. It was across the street from the university and a neighborhood.
Yeah. It was a duplex. And it's ghetto-y. I mean, it's clearly not a.
I never considered it ghetto-y, but I mean, I had fun living there.
No, we had a blast there.
Yeah,
And
it was a college neighborhood.
yeah. So anyway, so we drove. Mark Patrick had a 68 Ford Galaxy. I had a 79 Caprice Classic, I think.
I probably had the nicest car that wasn't the nicest car. I had a 76 Chevy Camaro.
And Brad had that Ford Granada 4-speed on the floor with one door
Right.
that wasn't the right color.
Well, you know the story behind that. That was a Sigma Chi event.
Yeah, I know, but let's not
Okay.
get into that. But what I'm trying to say is we drove near beaters.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
true.
I mean, it got us back and forth across Alfea Trail, and we were happy that it started that day,
Yes.
or the
Yes.
tires weren't flat. And so we drove over to Bar Louie on Friday night before I went back to the hotel. And there's BMW,
Oh, I
Mercedes,
know.
Audi.
Good Lord.
Every other car is a $70,000 plus car. And so these kids are spoiled beyond unbelievable.
And we're talking, there are 70,000 enrollees now at UCF.
Yeah.
And so it's 68.
Yeah.
Round it up.
Sure.
That is a lot of rich kids, man.
Well, and you think about a lot of kids are going to school on loans. And so
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know how they're doing it about, that Bar Louie place. We would go to the Nights
That's
Out
true.
pub. We'd go to Nights Out pub, which has been raised, and there's another building going up where we saw it. But we'd go to Nights Out pub. How much were beers?
Well, you could go for nickel quarter beer on some nights, but we were talking Tuesday was import night, dollar import night. Weeks, and then a pitcher of beer was probably $3 or $4. I'm guessing. Yeah, I mean there was a reason we went there. We could afford to drink.
Yeah.
So
And these places that we went to at Bar Louie's,
I couldn't afford now.
$13 shots.
Why do you think you bought me? Why do you think you bought me a round of drinks?
Yeah, I got the receipt.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I spent. Look, I got the money to do it. I'm not worried about it, but I'm just saying.
Oh, look
no
at Mr.
way.
Moneybags. I
Well,
got some money. Yeah.
Anyway,
Your big stock portfolio.
It's killing, by the way. It's doing good. We'll talk about that later on. But the point is, there's no way we could have done it in college.
No.
I'll tell you what we did that was kind of fun. As some of you guys might remember this, but we used to remember the happy hours in Orlando were a pretty big deal. And so I don't know who did this, but they would scout out the happy hours, and we were always looking for the one that had like a $2 cover, and then all you could eat hors d'oeuvres.
Buffet. Yep, a free buffet or something.
Well, it wasn't billed as a buffet, but the point was they would give away hors d'oeuvres, so you'd buy drinks. Well, of course,
You found one of those once out by the airport, man.
Yeah, we would drive with those things.
Well,
wouldn't
we were out there to pick up Mark's cousin, Mark's cousin.
Greg?
Yeah, and we tried to go to the airfield watch area to have a few beers, and the mosquitoes were like swarming us. You're like, oh, I know this hotel across the street. And so we talked them into letting us use their shuttle bus to go over to the airport. You don't remember that night?
Kind of do. Was it the international airport?
Yeah, down at the big airport. And you somehow had we got loaded at the happy hour and the buffet, and somehow you talked them into driving us all over to the airport to get Craig. And I remember Gibbons and them got a few wheelchairs. This is back before TSA, and you could go to the gates. And we're flying through the airport on wheelchairs, and a bunch of drunk college guys. And Craig comes off the plane, and we tackle him on the he's basically in front of everybody on the. So I don't know. That was one of those fun nights. So
I do remember. Did
anyhow, what's that?
Did he wait for us to take us back to the hotel? I think he did.
Yeah, no, he took us back to the hotel. Yeah.
That's
so
great.
We tipped him like crazy, but nonetheless, you had negotiated that.
Anyway, I'm just saying it was a different time, different place, and I just don't know how these kids are doing it. But this is the cars on the front lawn. I think they think their cars are really cool.
So you think that was students?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, what was a Tesla? I think like a Model 3, I think.
I
right?
didn't even look at them. I was like, this
I
is
think one was.
childish.
Yeah, I didn't know what the other one was. I was like,
I could have had
whatever.
my 60, what did I have? A 69, 63, 60. What the hell did I drive?
You should
68.
have. You should have rolled your Jeep up behind them. It's like, hey, everybody's parking here.
Yeah, that's right. Here's
That
the
would have
way
been a great
here.
parking spot.
I thought that's what they're doing, right?
At least we didn't have to take the golf cart over to the
No, I took it
alternate
over
parking.
to the Saturday night thing, but yeah, anyway. All right, anyway, so Friday night was awesome.
Yeah.
And we didn't miss the liquor at all. I mean, we were all
No.
grown-ups.
Well, I had done a pretty good warm up
Pre-show?
act. Yeah, pre-showed
Okay.
pretty well. So
Well, and I think in the end, if we'd had the booze Friday night, I just don't know that it would have been the same. I think everyone was cognitive and they were, you know what I mean? They were spending time in that space to talk to each other and not getting silly,
right.
out of hand silly. It was
Sure.
good. I'm just so happy that I went and
Yeah, I was too. I think that was the most. I had more conversations at that event. Was there music playing? I don't remember that.
I don't know,
I don't think there was. It was just
like a
my voice
mariachi
was
band or something like that.
my voice was probably the alcohol later that evening, but my throat and voice were shot by Saturday morning.
Yeah, well, I was progressively getting more tired. And so then we went across to Bar Louie's and met up with a bunch of guys and started drinking there. And I
Right.
still didn't drink. But then I said, okay, I'm going to go meet up with some of the guys back at my hotel. And I think I remember saying, how long did you guys stay after I left?
Not long. Not long. JoJo's round of drinks and just some more small talk because most of us at Bar Louie's were at the same hotel as us. So we kind of all just walked back to the
Okay.
hotel and then we got back there and kind of like, it was already what,
Pretty late. Yeah, it was
11:30.
late.
Like, and I'm like, we got the thing in the morning. So I'm like, screw it. I played old man. I've always been that way. I'm not a late night person. So
Yeah, not even
I'm
going
ruined for 2 days if I stay up late. So
well, and you'd been traveling early in the
that's true.
golf.
I'd been up since 4 a.m. and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay, so and that's where we got to see Mark. Mark Patrick was with us on Friday night, and of course he was yucking it up Mark style. And then of
yes,
course afterwards for a few belts afterwards, it was good seeing him. It was cool seeing JoJo.
yeah. I don't think there was anybody I was disappointed in seeing. Right, that I was like, could have been better. You know, sorry for that guy. No, JoJo would like to say, stop apologizing to him about the nickname. He feels you're taking it way, way too seriously.
Did he say
So,
something to you at the event?
yeah, yeah. He goes, he keeps saying he's sorry. I told him,
Well,
don't worry about it.
because I love him and I don't want to lose his I don't remember he saying that much. Maybe after I got hit. Well,
Yeah, you probably called him in the middle of the night, started talking about it like you called everybody else in the middle of the night. I didn't even know you left me a message till the next morning.
did I actually leave you a message or I shared
Yeah.
him?
No, you left me a message, and then when I finally replied in the morning, you sent me the other messages you had left people in the middle at 3
That's what we
a.m.
do at 1:30 in the morning after we've had a few hot toddies. Anyway, so all right, so I go back to the hotel Friday night, and Alan, I called Alan. I said, "Look, are we doing something in the lobby?" He goes, "Yeah, we're doing it in the lobby. So get over there." I'm like, "Okay, all right, whatever." So it was Alan, myself, and Tim. And Alan owns a bar, owns a
Oh,
liquor
does he?
store. Yeah, owns a liquor store. Cheers in Orlando.
Well, why didn't we go to his bar?
It's over on near International. It's on the other side of town.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, all
Well,
that.
to give a plug for the if you're in Orlando, go to Cheers.
Cheers.
Where do you get that name from?
I think it's where everybody knows your name.
Okay.
No, it's a nice place. I've been there. It's a restaurant and liquor store.
Yeah. Thanks, Alan, for inviting us.
Well, he brought the liquor store to the.
I didn't have any.
Well, you weren't there. Anyway,
Yeah.
so you weren't in the cool kids crowd.
Yeah, apparently. The rich kid.
By
You
that
guys are
time of the night, we had the cool kids, and we're like, "Get out of here!"
All right.
Anyway, so he brought some bourbon downstairs.
Some good stuff?
Oh,
Too good, huh?
it was yummy.
Which one was it?
I don't know. No, he
Oh,
had the
please.
bullet.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm not rye. It's all. Is a billet all rye or
No,
not?
they make a rye, I think, but this was bourbon.
It's not a Kentucky bourbon, though. It's a bourbon.
No, it's Kentucky. It's
Keep
Kentucky.
going. I'm going to look it up. Tell me your story.
Anyway, so this is the problem about getting old. I don't drink mixers anymore. I don't drink, he didn't bring a bottle and a bunch of Cokes. He bought a bottle
He just, oh man,
and
that's
some
rough.
plastic glasses and some ice, the way that was supposed to be done in the old
It,
days. So bourbon rocks.
all right,
Oh,
it is a Kentucky bourbon, but they brand it as a Frontier whiskey. Is why the label says Frontier whiskey, but
Frontier.
it is made in Kentucky. So,
Does that mean you have to drink it while riding a horse or something? What's the frontier part?
well, what you guys do?
Well, we
Were
were riding
you taking,
horses.
were you riding each other around the lobby of the hotel?
That's not. We swore not to talk about that.
No pictures. I got to get the security footage. Oh, that's what I should have done for your walk from
It
the.
really
You said
wasn't a walk. It
it
was
was more
more
of
of
a
a.
crawl, or you hugged
I'm
the
not even sure
wall.
how I got back to the elevator,
You hugged the wall till you, till you got to the
dude. Alan stands next to me. Okay, I had a couple drinks. I don't know. I lost
Maybe
count after.
you were just real tired, is what we're saying.
Yeah, it was jet lag. Anyway,
Yeah, you did cross a couple time zones.
so we're sitting there having enjoying ourselves, and the grand poobah shows up. The head cheese,
National.
the international from the international fraternity. Really cool guy, 6'5". He's a couple years older than I am. I don't know what height has to do with it, but anyway, he's a real cool guy. And he shows up, and so now we all got to stand up to shake his hand, right?
Or oh,
So, and they have these stupid lounge chairs. Alan, if you're listening to the show, I'm with you. They this, I don't
well,
know who buys lounge seating for hotels. It's like a chaise lounge.
they don't want to make it comfortable.
Well, it's you can't. It's like you feel like a little kid. The seat depth is so deep that you can't get. It doesn't break at your knee.
I think the idea is that you don't sit there a long time and spend
Well,
your
unless
hotel
you're
stay.
loaded, you're not comfortable. And
Right.
so anyway,
Did you take a nap halfway through the evening?
I'm sitting in the one that's halfway decent, and now I got to get up to shake this guy's hand. The good news is the front of the hotel, the big glass panes
Mhm.
and the aluminum
Frame. Yeah.
framed windows. It's like a half a foot away from this chair. So when I stood up, I hit that glass frame and then bounced back into the chair, and it was like a bing, 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 back and forth. And then I'm like, oh no, this is not going to be good. And so, I
And
think
then you Ralphed all over his nice leather shoes.
no,
It's right out of the movies, Dave. Fraternity movies.
I don't do that.
The B movie.
So Alan can see what's going on, and he comes up to me and he goes, "I so want to push you over right now. If I put one finger on you, you're going down." I'm like, "Yeah, so don't do that." And I've got two fingers on the sofa holding on. I'm embarrassed. No, not a lot, but I'm embarrassed to talk about it. So then the guy goes over to shake my hand. I think I told him, this isn't a good time right now for me to shake your hand.
I can't take my hand off either.
If I lose
either.
my anchor spot, I'm done. Oh, it was brutal.
Did he enjoy a drink with you guys, or he go upstairs?
Yeah,
and
he
behave
did.
himself?
He
Okay.
I don't know if he had a drink, but he hung out with us for a little while. He was a really good sport.
I'm sure that's the probably upside to his position and traveling to these different events and stuff is that he gets a little bit of time with different people from different institutions and so forth. So
it was interesting. The other guy that showed up from Tampa, on the way over the next morning to the chapter meeting, I couldn't walk as fast as everybody else was. And so he kind of figured it out and said, I better go check on Dave. And so he was walking with me, and he does a lot more of that kind of interaction with the undergrads where he's toe to toe with them.
All right.
This guy, the grand consul, didn't seem like he did that.
Okay.
But he was very friendly with the young folks, obviously, and had connections to them. I was just trying to find his name, Bob. I think his name Bob Wilson, maybe. Anyway, super nice guy from Denver, and then the other fellow was from Tampa area. But yeah, so Friday night was a chance to catch up with Alan. Alan's my and Tim. Tim's my big brother in the chapter, and just relax. That's the way I like. I don't like to get steamed like that all the time, but I enjoy having bourbon rocks and just sipping it.
Yeah. And it is Bob Wilson, by the way. So you're
Bob
correct.
Wilson, yeah.
Yep.
Nice, super nice guy.
In case you're listening, Bob, give us some plugs on the old Segment Guy hotline. You're listening to We Can Help with Dave and Woody.
Yeah.
Bob, if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel for me.
I mean, while you're here.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, right? I mean,
no, it's free. It's
a little something for the brotherhood. It's all
That's right.
Bonds of chains or something. I don't know.
Something like that. So
arms.
Yeah. So we made it to Saturday morning. It's what
Saturday morning.
Bright and early. Yeah. But it was I brilliant move, whoever set up the time for that meeting, because it was late enough yet early enough that we didn't interfere with the afternoon events. So very good timing on behalf of that. I was worried when I was going to bed Friday night. I'm like, oh, is this thing like at 8 a.m. or something? I looked at like 10. Yes, I can sleep in. So that was a big
7-hour sleep.
That's not enough for me. I need 8.
6 hours.
I need 8. So,
right,
but you looked in good spirits when I saw you.
Yeah, I woke up. So I got a little technology thing. It's kind of funny. We're at the student union now on campus.
Right, that's where the meeting's
at the Starbucks. We had to go to the Starbucks first, so we're all trying to get food in us. Of course, they opened up, and all these kids behind the counter are working, right? And so it's finally my time to order. I order my little breakfast sandwich, and I order a latte, and I'm like, oh, Starbucks, what size is this stupid thing?
Yeah,
and she goes, just say the normal stuff. I'm like, well, small. How big is a small? And then she said, whatever they do. And so, but the thing that was amazing, she's like, college kid, 20, probably 19, whatever. I go up there to order. She's handing the guy before me his change. And right before she goes to the cash register to open the change thing, she pulls her phone out of her pocket, looks at it, and then starts typing. Like a text. She's returning a text. So she zips off a text real quick, sticks it back in her apron, then pulls the money out, hands it. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Hands him the change. And then she comes, my step up, and she goes, hold on a second. Pulls, because it's going like that in her pocket. So she pulls it out, and she starts ticking around on her phone again. And I look at her and go, what are you doing? And she goes, oh, I just got to send this text back. And I'm like,
what if it was, the president of the United States touching base with her, man? Maybe she's typed. She got time for you, old man. Put up with your shenanigans on the can. She's getting $13 an hour or something, maybe. She got time
15.
for you to be.
No, they make 15, I think.
To be griping.
No, I'm just saying. What are you doing? And so then
you call her out in front of everybody. That's nice.
Oh, yeah. She hawkered a loogie in my food. I'm sure she.
Yeah, I hope so.
So I was just like, I didn't labor it because I didn't have the energy to do it because I was about to fall over again. But it just baffles me that we're in this space again. That I don't know these people. Anyway, so then I got my coffee, and it was coffee, and I ordered a latte, which almost set me off. And then I said, look, I'm just going to take it back up there and see if they can make me another one. Of course, then we're up against the window that we got to be in there at 10 o'clock.
Right.
And in this meeting, you can't be late. And so it was actually a blessing because if I had that drink, then I'd have been trying to go to the bathroom. I couldn't get out of the meeting. So I took the coffee back to her and said, listen, I got to go to this meeting. But my name's Dave. Who are you? Remember me, because I'm going to come back and get my free latte that you owe me. And so she said, okay, Mr. Dave, we'll see you then. But I'm texting all my friends.
Yeah, I'm closing this place. Where do you get back? As you walk away, they close the gate.
I'm spitting in all the cups now.
Sucker.
Anyway, so that was very good. And then the blessing again was time in between the next event.
Yes.
So I had to go downstairs with Jad and that was cool. The big event was right downstairs on the first
Yeah,
floor.
I didn't know that at the time. I
Yeah.
didn't look it up till I got back to the hotel. So
Well, so we spent about 30 minutes downstairs getting our stuff together on stage and making sense of it. And he had to be somewhere with his wife or something. I said, I'm going back to the hotel. I need to go
Right.
take a shower and take a nap. All right. Well, we've labored this, but you got any more else? I'm in the evening. You want to talk about Saturday night?
it was a nice. Yeah, I did call it with the dancing. I think the dancing lasted from 9:15 to 9:17. That even only a dance floor. Who needs a dance floor?
It was a
So-
bit of a sausage.
I think it was. Yeah. Well, no, duh.
It felt like we were at a lamb Kai party. I was
I
like,
think
what is this?
the DJ played one song. I don't think even people dancing made it to the end of the song.
Well, I think what happened was the very opening session. We had group photos we had to take, and
Yes.
the photographer was a little bit of a bully.
Well, he was trying to, in his defense,
He was
everybody's
hurting
goofing
cats.
off. Yeah, he was trying to get it done.
Fair
you know?
enough. And so we went a little long on the photos. I hope they turned. I think they did. That guy was working his butt off the whole
Yeah.
night. Everybody involved in this whole thing, from Carly, Tim's daughter, at Friday night, was killing it with photography. I haven't seen him yet, but I think she's. I told. I was gonna.
She did take the lens cap off, if you noticed.
I was gonna give her 20
kidding,
bucks.
Tim. I'm
I was gonna
kidding.
say, Carly, here's 20 bucks. Just take a lot of pictures of Mr. Theus.
Make sure you
But,
get my good side.
Yeah.
Here's a 20. Get my good side.
Get yourself something shiny. But the guy was just killing. I think I pissed him off too, because there's one part I screwed up during the thing when the old guys were supposed to come up, and then he was like, "Okay, it's a good time for me to take a group picture." I'm like, "No, they got to go sit down because we got to keep this thing moving." But
Well,
that's
you did get a
that's
group picture of them earlier.
I don't
They
know.
did the 70s, so they already had a picture of them. Those guys couldn't get up again if they had to. I mean, it was enough getting
Well,
up and
they
down.
made him sit on the floor. Those guys were sitting on the floor, I think.
Oh, okay. That's right. And what poor gentleman, I don't know what he had done, but he was in a cast and a wheelchair, something to his ankle or foot.
No,
or
that's
something.
that's the guy. That's I don't want to say his name.
But I didn't know what happened to him that he was in the wheelchair.
Oh,
is my
okay.
point.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Where were you on stage for the picture, or were you down?
The big picture, yes, I was up on stage. The 80s picture, I was down on the floor because I wasn't
you
getting
ha-
back up there again.
Well, did you have an OSHA moment when on stage thing?
At the back of the stage, they smartly put up a
Railing.
So not that it was the most secure railing, like had you leaned against it, you would have gone off the stage, but
Yeah.
didn't seem too bad. Well, I didn't stand there. I stood behind the chairs on the front of the stage.
Well,
So-
when the guy was corralling us all, I think he motioned to me, he goes, "Go upstairs." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going up there." With my nearly 300 pounds would have been the thing that set it off,
Oh, please.
and it'd been one of those,
You were up there all night.
yeah, just myself and one other guy, not a bunch of us.
And
Anyway,
of course,
so
everybody was making cat calls and yelling at everybody in a fun way up there on stage. It was kind of
Yeah,
fun.
it was a
hard to get
blast.
us all to sell. I doubt there's one picture he took where we're all actually facing the camera.
I don't know. There's one I posted that I think I got from one of the girls took the picture.
Okay.
So, I can't wait to see him. That's just going to be kind of a rejuvenating. All right. Anyway, so let's move on. Now we didn't give credit to, when did we run into Hoover? Was that Friday night?
Friday night, and I ran into him Saturday night. I got to apologize to his wife. I thought,
Booster.
what's that?
Was this the Winn-Dixie story?
Well, kind of, sort of, because that's what started it. I said, "Didn't you work at Winn-Dixie?" And she said, "No, one of her roommates worked at Winn-Dixie while I was there." And then I said, "Oh, do you remember Karen Smith?" And she goes, "Yeah, she married Ed."
Oh.
And I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh, get out of here!" And she goes, "She's right there." Never did I consider there could have been two Karen Smiths at the university. So I went over there and I said, "Karen, do you remember me?" And we looked at each other, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh crap, this doesn't look like
She's changed a lot.
Yes. I'm like, this doesn't look like the same Karen Smith I remember, who was my big sister in the fraternity. And then I quickly found out that I had the wrong Karen Smith. And then it dawned on me, yes, Woody, there can be more than one Karen Smith. Yeah.
Smith.
Yes, in the world. So I said, well, nice meeting you regardless. I said that was going to be a very big surprise. So if the real Karen Smith is out there listening, we did miss you at the get together.
Yeah. So Hoover, Greg Hill, some of his friends call him now.
Right.
He comes up to me, I guess Friday night, and
Yes.
acknowledges that he listens to the podcast.
And we didn't force him to do that either.
Yeah, and I was like, "What podcast?
You sure you got the right way?
You think it's this one? I mean, really?" And he goes, "No, man, I've been listening to it for a long." And he was quoting chapter and verse.
I think I went the same angle with him too. He's like, I listened to your podcast. I'm like, what, the one I do? Like I have so many. So thank you, Hoover, for being an avid listener, an unprovoked listener, and keep listening. Tell your friends.
Yeah, no, that was cool. It was, it was a moment. I told Woody, I said, we're growing. We've 100% improvement.
Right. So
anyway,
yeah. And I hope we gain a lot of subscribers from that experience. And Hoover, once again, apologize to your wife for me for. I mean, I don't think it's that bad to accuse someone to be that had worked at Winn-Dixie at the time, but
that was probably a good gig.
It was a good paying. There was a lot of Sigma Chi little sisters that worked at that particular store.
Never would have made enough money to do Bar Louie nights, but yeah.
No, that's why I hung out at Nights Out Pub and Wally's.
Yeah. So anyway, I have to say, all in all, I'm just tickled that I know I'm pleased that I went, and it wasn't cheap, but it was manageable. Definitely. It was definitely money well spent. I don't know how we could have done it for any less, the budget wise. So
no, it was very affordable. And I got to say, I flew the budget airlines each way, a different one each way. I flew Frontier down and Allegiant back.
Okay, so what did your round trip cost? Because my rental car was not cheap.
About $180
each way or round trip.
Round trip.
Yeah, $465 for the rental.
Yeah, well, Florida's tough on rentals, right? I mean, just because of the place it is. But I got to tell you, I think the big airlines are in trouble. Customer service, the attitudes, the people on the plane, outstanding. I was very impressed with the whole experience. I mean, the seats are smaller. Well, I wouldn't say smaller, just there's no tray table, there's no pocket in front of you.
Frills.
Yeah, I came on with a drink, like a 12-ounce plastic bottle, and I got my seat and I wanted to put it down so I could put my belt on. And I'm like, there was no place to put it.
Excuse me, could you hold this for me?
Yeah, well, that's essentially, I had to hold it between my knees, and I get the seat belt on. So that was kind of weird experience, but no, very, very impressed by the whole experience on both those. And what's nice is like Allegiant, flew out of the smaller airport there in Sanford and landed at the even smaller airport here in Charlotte, Concord. And so that was, they don't have ramps to and from they have ramps, but they're outdoor ramps, right, at Concord. So it was a little chilly getting off the plane because I wasn't ready for that. But
where you walked down the stairs?
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't stairs. It was a ramp, but it was all outdoors. Had just like a vinyl, an awning over it.
Yeah.
Here's something I found on my flight, and I'll post a picture of it here. I took a picture while I was on the airplane. This was on Allegiant. How do you pronounce the word WHILST?
Whilst.
No. Is that a true guess? I would have gone. I was going whilst.
Is it the word I'm thinking of? It means while you're doing this, whilst we were doing that.
Yeah, but how often do you see that word? So it said seatbelt must be fastened whilst seated.
So Latin That's one of those words I use a lot.
But why? Oh, so you do. I'm like, why is this on the airplane?
It might be Old English. I don't know what it is, but
Well, the only thing I think of it was an Airbus, and that's made in France. So maybe,
yeah.
but I think the A320 is out in Alabama or something like that. But they designed it. So,
I love the word. This is weird,
but it's pronounced whilst.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that you can say it a couple. I've always said whilst, whilst. It's while.
I say whilst.
Hold on.
And then I was corrected when I covered this at the office.
Alexa, how do you pronounce Whilest?
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
She's. Well, now we got an English girl tonight. You know, so we got an English girl. What was the other question we were going to ask her? I think she's British.
Ask her what nationality she is.
Alexa, what nationality are you?
I'm from the cloud, but I was designed and built by Amazon. They're based in Seattle.
This is a new girl.
I don't think it is.
No, this is not the same. Alexa, are you an imposter?
No, I'm not.
She's getting
Alexa, with you. Are you an Alexa contributor?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
What is that accent? That's it's not Australian.
Irish, English,
Latvian. That's a different girl. I feel
well, I fired the last one. She didn't know anything.
Oh, this one's starting out well.
She's not doing so well.
Hold on, let's see. I'm gonna try one more thing. Whilst. Yeah, I love that word. I try to use it as much as possible when I'm writing. And I don't know why.
I just found it strange. I was nothing to do on the plane for an hour and a half or whatever. I was sitting there. I'm like, that's a strange word.
Second person, singular, simple, present, indicative of while. Whilst. What's the difference between while and whilst? While is used to describe time. Whilst is used to describe contrast. For example, I shivered in the bathroom while I ran a bath, whilst my sister stayed in her warm bed. I thought it was going to be kind of creepy.
So they used it improperly on the plane then. It should have been while seated.
No, whilst my sister stayed in bed, the seatbelt should be...
Seatbelts should be fastened whilst seated. It should have been while seated. So, yeah, I need to write the airline. Let them know. They got
we figured it all out.
They got a
where's the thing that shows you the how to say it?
Pronunciation.
Oh yeah, that. What is the proper pronunciation of whilst? Oh, there's Wallace. All right, this is killing people. We can't do this anymore.
All right, yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. We got a little awry there.
It's getting long in the tooth.
All right, so. What else did we have?
Well, I want to, before we get off the subject of the fraternity,
please.
I just want to pass along. It reminded me of we had some great experiences and a lot of fun times at that fraternity. But one of the things, and I don't know if it's indicative of that chapter or Sigma Chi as a whole, but they really give you the principles that allow you to lead a life of Lagom.
Dun, dun, dun.
What? You know that one?
It's here, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't mean to. Did I make it too obvious?
Well, your build-up's a little bit phlegmatic.
Well, I was using the Sigma Chi. Anyhow, word is Lagom. Are you familiar with that? I put it in pretty good context, but I don't think you'll get it. It's the principle of living a balanced, moderately paced, low fuss life. Yeah, there you go.
Lagom. That's the proper pronunciation.
Yeah. Lagom.
Lagom. Have you ever heard Lacom Fit?
I
The kids
just
are,
got that for some reason. Why?
did I say it last time?
Maybe. Yeah, I've heard it recently.
The
I don't
kids
know.
are all saying it now. The come fit. It means that you're dressed casually and you're comfortable. I don't know. Anyway,
So you
well,
say.
so we were saying on the heels of this fraternity event. I remember on the way to the airport, I asked you what was your takeaway.
Did you? I don't know
Yeah,
if I
so,
had we were debating politics most of the ride.
well, in the very beginning when I was fussing at McDonald's,
Yes. By the way, people, listeners, I understand now where Dave's family's coming from when he goes to has these little bits of, of anger at the poor people trying to work at these low paying jobs. Nothing had happened. He orders a coffee. Would you say one Splenda, two Splendas? Would you say two Splendas, one
hey,
cream, or?
whatever. Yeah.
And before it can even be wrong, he goes, "Now make sure you get that right. It's important." I'm like, "Jeez, they even get it wrong yet, and you're already on her about the coffee order."
Because it's like 9 times out of 10, they can't make the damn coffee right.
But you think that your last statement changed anything? Do you think they went, "Holy
No,
cow, we got to get this right"?
I got a pound of flesh out of it. Not even a whole pound either. It wasn't weighed properly.
So
No,
yeah.
I don't know.
So what did I get out of the weekend? I got I'll say it again. One of the better decisions I made in life was joining that fraternity at that location. I can't speak for all chapters. I would like to think that, but there's idiots all over the world, and they ruin, certain idiots ruin certain chapter experiences. But one of the better and people that knew me before I joined the fraternity and during and knew me during and after saw a significant positive effect in my life. So I will say that.
Significant. Get that?
Yeah, I didn't even try to
Significant.
do that. It was significant though, and for the good, obviously. And so glad I did it, and I attribute a lot of that to that fraternity.
That's a
And
good one.
so the weekend kind of reminded me of that, is where I was getting with it. So,
Wow.
what'd you get out of it? A hangover?
No, actually, I was okay.
All right.
Um,
Did you
well,
drink the second night again?
oh,
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah, there was more people there though.
Yes,
More
that's the
people
night I
for me to
wish I would have.
fall on.
Yeah, I wish I had stayed.
Oh, if I haven't said it, by the way, Pete and Sylvia were there
Yes.
Friday night, and special shout out to those two. What an amazing couple, first of all, and
A power couple.
Yeah,
Would
I
you
guess
go
so.
that far? Yeah.
She's a delivery room nurse. She's delivered babies. It's a cool story. A lot of our fraternity brothers' wives had their children, and Sylvia had the honor of delivering their babies. So that's kind of a
Oh,
really neat story.
yeah, and then
And
she's seen all their vajayjays now too.
apparently, Pete got the watch. I don't know what. Kind of creepy, but
There's the upside. Hey,
it works. Pete was there. He's our new chapter advisor,
That's
and
true. We didn't find Sam. I made a diligent effort.
everyone
I
was
asked.
looking. Hold this thought. So I got to get the Sylvia thing out of my blood.
Oh, okay.
I made a poignant, direct question to Pete. I said, "Look, your wife is a special person to me as well, and I do I have your permission to give her a hug?" And of course, he warned me of
And he
some
said
things.
no.
And I said, "Well, I'm doing it anyway. I don't care." And so it was I don't want to say it was an honor, but I was so tickled to see them both, really. I think Pete's one of those guys in the fraternity that was, I could say, special to me. I mean, he was, I don't know, we were best friends, but he was one of those guys that just and he continues to be a good
Yeah.
guy. He's a great guy. And so he had the good fortune of marrying a beautiful, great lady. And it was so cool to see them both. Um, I don't know. It just,
Both or just Sylvia?
well, mostly
Okay.
Sylvia, but
All right. Just want to make that clear. I know. I don't want to get
I'm
in
starting
trouble
to get a
with
little verklempt now all of a sudden. Anyway, so that I want to get that off my chest. And my takeaway from the weekend, though, other than the Sylvia thing, love you, Sylvia.
Don't forget to subscribe, Sylvia.
Yeah, well, at least you could do that.
I know.
there were a lot of emotions. Uh, when you're 60 years old, I think I'm at an age where I'm still lucid for the most part, and I have a lot of memories that took place, and they're a little foggy. Some of them are, but to see their faces, um, Psychos,
Yeah, that was good to see him. I hadn't heard.
Patrick Kelly.
Yeah, he was
Um,
my Magister. I tried to get with him the gala night, but unfortunately he was surrounded by others talking, and I had to get going. So
Salzman,
yeah,
uh,
I talked to him for a bit.
Paul M, my Magister, Paulie. To see those guys, there was enough of they were, they hadn't changed.
Yeah, that's what I said. Personalities stayed the same.
And it took me back when we were in the meeting. I didn't see them come in. I don't know how I missed them, but I came in and went to my spot in the meeting, and they're in a different location in the meeting, so they're not right next to me. They're older.
I don't think they were in the meeting.
No, they were. They were.
Really?
And when it came time for them to speak, I was like, wow. Wayne Allred, that's another one. That whole bend around the corner.
Yeah.
Mike Presley, all those guys.
Yeah, it was good to hear from everybody.
It was the core group that when you and I were there, and it was really firing on all cylinders. Our chapter and our fraternity were. And,
I think that was the high point, at least as far as members and activities and things of that nature. I would imagine. I was talking to one of the prior chapter advisors, and the numbers are down and stuff, not because of the chapter's inability, but just in general, the fraternal organizations are lower these days.
Well, I'm sure
they had been in the past.
Yeah, it's not terribly inexpensive. I mean, it's another cost.
All right. So, hey, listen. I'll go ahead. Finish your thought.
Well, I was just going to say my takeaway was a rekindling of the great spirits. I mean, we goofed off and did some crazy stuff. Please. I mean, God.
Yes.
And quite of those crazy things people reminded me of.
Yes.
Over.
Maybe I'll post some pictures of those crazy times.
That's not the ones I'm thinking of.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I think Ed Ciotti was like, okay, I know, I was there. You don't have to keep bringing it up.
Nothing illegal either, by any. If anybody's considering that, it was
clearly it might keep you out of office. So
right,
yeah. So it was somewhere between exciting. It was nostalgic. It was just a great weekend. I'm so glad I went.
It was the right amount of time. Everything else. So I appreciate all those who put it together, and if we could do it, let's do it again next year. Just keep it going.
I told Joe Hartman on the way, I said, hey, see you in 50 years. He goes, not us.
I wish I'll be 106 in 50 years. So, listen, it's I want to keep extolling the values, but we've gone over on time, and it's a Pokemon card inventory night here in the Woody household. So we got to get on it.
Wait a minute. So last week was Pikachu.
Well, no, last week I was explaining how Pikachu got the name.
Isn't Pikachu part of the Pokemon?
Yes.
Now, so it's Pokemon, right?
Sure.
Well,
you say Pokemon, other people say Pokemon.
Well, I say
tomato,
and it pisses the kids off. I'm like, put your Pokemon away. It's not Pokemon, Mr. Theus.
Get off your phone and the internets.
Oh, wait a minute. We can't go any further. We're messing something up. We've overlooked somebody. Danny Shepard.
Oh gosh, another avid listener of the show. I'm so apologetic.
Yeah,
Danny.
we can't go any further.
He kind of snuck in at the end, though. That was, kind of unfair.
I think he flew down to see family down in.
He's one of his daughters, I believe.
That was a smart thing. I think a lot of people did that. They saw parents and saw family members. But
I would have slept on their couch.
Shepard and Paul Thompson, if you're listening.
Yeah.
I know that he had a family commitment. I think his wife was involved in some sort of medical thing that they had to get done. I hope she's well, if that's the case. I think it turned out well. But Thompson, you missed.
Yeah.
Your dynamic duo was semi-dynamic, and he carried it. He carried the heavy lifting for you, man. And he was on fire the whole night. In fact, Saturday night he was over there at the hotel with us. And Penner, oh my God, Penner.
Oh, I forgot about Pinner. Yeah. So, well, let's
Pinner
not get
was-
too nostalgic here, man. We got to wrap this up. We're way over on time.
I'm just reeling in it still.
Well, we
So
can keep
Pokemon-
throwing on. Yeah, I got to get on this car. I'm going to make sure I'm a millionaire still.
Well, we do want to make sure that this episode gets labeled accordingly to the Sigma Chi thing. And we
Sure.
won't do this every night because, quite frankly, I can't stand those people.
I had enough of them. I'm tired of them. It was time to go the next morning when you picked me up.
All right,
I didn't
what
want to
time-
ride with you to the airport at that
Oh
point.
yeah, so just get me there and shut up, BS. I hope we haven't destroyed the show.
Oh, one Splenda, two creams. Don't get that wrong.
It was 3. You've already screwed it up. It was 3
Let's say-
Splenda and 3 creams.
What's okay? Well, anyhow, let's
All right,
wrap
what do you-
this up.
What do you want to do? You want to call
Wrap
it?
it up. Yeah.
Time of death, TOD. All right. Well, Woody, in hoc signo win case to you.
Thank you.
What are you supposed to say next? There's nothing else.
I was gonna say there's no return
No,
for
there
that
isn't.
one.
All right.
I forgot half of it anyhow. So as you knew, you had to write something down for me, and I still screwed it up.
I was waiting for you to get on all fours on the floor when you were moving the chairs. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is the part where you get on all floor. On all fours.
That's
You're like,
right.
no,
That's
it isn't. Don't you remember?
Oh,
All right. My
Say
wife
goodnight.
has some. Yeah. Okay. Say goodnight, Gracie.
there you go.
All right. I'm Dave.
I'm Woody.
And you've been listening to a quasi-titillating episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody. And guard well for the good of the order. Mess that up. Guard well for... Well, good night. What do I do now?